A young rat has an obsession with food culture, restaurants, flavor, combinations, and a life as a chef. But he's a rat, and people despise rats. One day, he gets separated from his family and winds up in the care of a naive garbage boy. Together, they concoct a scheme that changes the lives of everyone in Gusteau's restaurant in the 2007 Pixar adventure Ratatouille. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre,
I'm Colton Jenkins.
and this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Our 10-part miniseries on food movies, or FOODGAZM as we're calling it, continues with Pixar's foodie classic Ratatouille. What's your history with this film?
My history with this film is I got into cooking because I used to help my mom in the kitchen all the time, and I fell in love with it. And obviously, I was really young, so I liked cartoons, and I really liked cooking. And I remember seeing the preview for Ratatouille, and I was like, "Holy fuck, I want to go see that so bad!" And we never went to go see it. So one night, my parents asked me to help them with dinner, which is like my favorite thing. So I helped them cook dinner, and then as a surprise, my dad, I didn't even know it was out because I didn't know that DVDs were a thing because I was like, a fucking child, an idiot. And my dad had actually bought Ratatouille, and I helped make dinner, and then I watched Ratatouille with them, and it's, I think, Pixar's greatest movie.
Really, that's high praise.
I know.
That makes perfect sense. I did go see Ratatouille, but because I was a fan of Pixar, I didn't really care about food.
Oh,
But I liked it. I thought it was cute. It was fun, and then I didn't watch it for like 10 years. A lot of Pixar's movies for me were like I saw them, and then I grew up and I didn't watch them as much. I haven't seen Up in a very long time. They're like, yeah,
I think this is a hot take, but I think Up is hyped because of its first like 20 minutes.
no, yeah, you're right. But that first opening scene with like the progression of Carl and Ellie, I want to
Yeah.
say, yeah, their life is beautiful and maybe the most poignant like bit of filmmaking Pixar's ever done.
Yeah, it was so
But
good.
after that, it's an old man and a Boy Scout chasing an 8-foot tall bird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again, but yeah, I think it is. There's some overhype going there. Ratatouille, however, is a beautifully animated, fun movie with a good message that really does hold up.
For sure. Yeah. I think Ratatouille is my favorite Disney Pixar movie. I could be very wrong here, but I don't put like Toy Story, Bugs Life in the same boat as Ratatouille. I think Toy Story and Bugs Life are better than Ratatouille, but I think Disney Pixar is its own entity.
Well, but Toy Story and Bugs Life are Pixar.
Yeah, I know it's Pixar, but Ratatouille is Disney Pixar.
Oh, that's fucking semantics. It was always Disney Pixar.
It's the only way I can get away with saying that Ratatouille is Disney Pixar's best movie and Toy Story is Pixar's best movie because I can't choose. Don't
That
ever make me choose.
I know some people on the team who are going to message you about that bullshit, but we will get to that. Uh, um, I'll always go to bat for just Toy Story being their masterpiece.
Yeah.
The fact that they pulled that off in 1995, had to make this technology to make that movie, and it still looks good, is pretty amazing. However, I think their best movie to date is probably Coco.
No, Coco's good.
That movie makes me sob every time I watch it. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now, and I can't get through that movie without falling apart.
That is a very beautiful movie. Yeah.
But I hadn't seen Ratatouille in quite a long time, and I'm glad we decided to add it onto our Foodgasm schedule here because I had a great time with this.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So, my question to you, this film is very much centered around the extra sensory perception that food can have on somebody who appreciates it in a certain way. So, are there any food memories that you have that are particularly strong when you like smell a certain dish or something?
Ooh. Kinda, yeah. I don't know if this like counts, but my mom, she has this recipe. It's weird, but she has a recipe for curry, and I don't know what it is, but like when my mom makes curry, it doesn't smell like when like Indian restaurants or Thai restaurants cook curry. It has a very distinct smell. It's a very good smell. But if I was having a bad day at school, I'd always like text my mom like today's shit, and I would come home and she's fucking making curry, and everything was all right. And actually, curry was the last meal I had before I went home. So yeah, that's it.
That's very nice. That's very touching. Um, my mom is also my mom's a big foodie. She has her like her staples, certain recipes that she'll make that'll just clear the day right up. She taught me how to make schnitzel her way, so now I can do it, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit of like how like fathers are like disappointed when like their kid finally beats them in a pickup game.
Yes.
I had that moment where it's like now I can make schnitzel on my own. So like what? But I felt like I've not surpassed my mother in terms of cooking skill. No fucking way. But the fact that I can do one of her recipes I had a moment where I'm like, oh shit, I grew up.
Yeah.
And that was weird. But one memory I do have, I was making homemade pizzas with my Uncle Sean, and we watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It was the first time I'd ever seen it. So
Nice.
we had Italian food with that movie playing, and it was really cool. And that's a 3 hour long cowboy epic. So it was a long night,
Wow.
but it was worth it. That was a great movie. And I made the pizzas and like we did a whole thing and it turned out great. And so
Hell
like,
yeah.
that there's a certain cheese and sauce we use when we make homemade pizzas that just brings back like, Clint Eastwood shooting the motherfucker. It's awesome.
That's funny.
Of course, my food memories are going to be tied to my movie memories. That's
Yeah.
just who I am. But
I
it
don't
is
know.
neat.
It's not really like a food memory, but like whenever I go back home and visit my parents, my brother is there, and we always end up staying up late at night, and we always get like I don't know what it is about staying up late, but I always get like hungry whenever we're fucking around playing like Halo or like watching movies, and it's always like we always sneak into the kitchen and we see what we can make while being the quietest as possible. It's always so fun to steal food when your parents are asleep. Like we're grown ass adults, it's fine, but we're still like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how food can do that.
Yeah.
Food can trigger so many different kinds of feelings and memories, and we've come a long way from just, beating the shit out of a zebra and, eating it in a cave.
Yeah. I think it's because like so much goes into food, right? Like so much I mean there's so many like shows on like Travel Channel and shit about how food is like one of the best ways to learn about culture, but it's because food brings people together. It is you have to work for it. It smells good, and smell is like one of the best forms of like like having a memory that there is. Taste. It's like everything about a person goes into food.
Food is the lifeblood of society.
Yes.
Every different culture, has their own staples of life. And there's certain foods you can only get if you go to like a certain part of town in some country, if only if that place is open. Like it's neat. You can't get the same food everywhere,
No,
which is neat. Yeah, good.
just like the chef episode when they're eating po' boys, and he's like, man, oh no, they're eating andouille sausage, and he's like, oh yeah, we gotta go to New Orleans to like have it, and the kid's like, we can have it here, and he's like, no, it is not the same.
Damn right, yeah. I learned to make this really tasty Cajun potato soup recipe in high school. We had a cooking class, and we had to, find recipes that we could cook within 30 minutes. and we cooked them. And then I had history class afterwards, so I would take whatever I'd made into history class and hand it out if I made like a coffee cake or cookies or something. They liked
Nice.
that. But we made Cajun potato soup, which was andouille sausage, potato, onion, spinach, butter, heavy cream. It's it's fucking tasty. And now it reminds me, I've made it a couple times for my family, and it just makes me think of winter, of
Mm.
high school, which I enjoyed. I'm like the only person on earth who really enjoyed high school. But it was, it makes me think of a simpler time when there weren't so many responsibilities, when I didn't
Yeah.
have, debt and life hanging over my head, when it was just like possibilities and like anything could happen. Love, life, what's college going to be like? It was back when I was naive and stupid, and I miss that.
Yeah. Like the thing that like hits me with like a wave of nostalgia is like especially around Christmas time is this is weird, but artificial Christmas trees have like a weird smell to them that just fucking brings me back. I'm like fucking 10 years old living at home,
You know what
like
does
waiting for the bell to ring to go home for Christmas break.
you know what does that for me? A very specific candle scent. There's like
Yes.
it's like cheap dollar store little candles in that like little metal tin. You know what I mean? Like the tiny ones.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are all over the fucking house at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and I smell like it's almost like plastic burning, and I just think like holidays.
Yeah.
It's delightful. I love that.
Yeah.
Uh, when we get to December, I've already talked to some people about on the team. Like we're planning some just to do random Christmas movies because why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to like talk about like the Polar Express, and I think we're doing the Nightmare Before Christmas at one point. Like just those are the best. I'm looking forward to the holidays.
Oh yeah. Me too.
But food memories are powerful and fun. And I was wondering if this movie came out of a food memory, and it didn't. So
Oh.
don't know why I set that up. It did not.
I have a question for you before we get further.
Okay.
So a big part of this movie is anyone can cook, which I relate to. Anyone can do great things. So my question to you is, do you think anyone is capable of greatness, or do you think people have to be born into it?
That was very nearly almost my question. I was gonna roll with the anyone can cook thing. I'm glad I didn't. I do think anyone is capable of greatness. I think greatness takes dedication, work, and sweat. I think most people who are born great are not great at all. They think they're
Yeah.
great, but they haven't earned anything.
Mm-hmm.
I admire the people who work to pursue their dream and they don't stop till they get it. I think of for me, my like one of my heroes is Stephen King. He started out working at laundromats for quarters, selling short stories to magazines to try to make the rent. He was working on Carrie, his first novel. He didn't think it was worth anything. He thought like no one's going to read this. He threw away the manuscript. His wife dug it out of the trash and told him, "You need to finish this book. People are going to pay attention to this." And he finished the book. He got it published for like a couple $100,000, and the rest was history. He became Stephen King. But he wasn't born, America's greatest writer, in my opinion. He had to work at that. He had to, work at laundromats and sell short stories and figure out what he wanted to say. And he had people like his wife supporting that dream to tell him, like, you can do this. People need to read this book.
Mm.
And he never stopped. He fought through cocaine addiction. He fought through that fucking car accident to just keep doing what he loves to do. And continue. He's got a new one that came out this week, which I'm going to pick up as soon as I get paid. I admire the people who wanted to do something that mattered to them, not necessarily to the world or to society, but to them, and made it happen for them. Those are the people who you want to admire.
For sure. I agree with everything you just said wholeheartedly. Yeah. If a rat is cooking my food,
Yeah.
so be it, I guess. I don't know.
If it's, I've had many terrible meals from humans. So I'd be willing to try an amazing one from a rat. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I have a question. Did you, because this is me, this is what I did. The first time I saw Ratatouille, I felt lied to because when I found out that Ratatouille is not like pepperoni, cheese, fucking like sausage, and it's just fucking like tomato and squash, I was upset.
Well, it's cut to look like pepperoni, but you can see them cutting the vegetables in the movie. Like, not once did I think, oh, that looks like sausage. I thought, oh, that's squash and
I
peppers.
thought it was like I kept begging my mom. I was like, please fucking make Ratatouille for dinner. And she finally did. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, this isn't what I wanted.
You wanted her to replicate an animated movie's meal.
Yes. Why does animated like food in animated movies always look so good?
I don't know. I mean, I can kind of answer why this movie looked so real. That they worked really hard to get this as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good question. I love that. It is true, the whole anyone can cook thing. It's like, yeah, anyone can cook, but still have to work at it. You still have to try.
Exactly.
You still have to believe in yourself and believe that you can do something. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it when he says it.
Oh, I have it. We'll get to that when we get to our awards.
We might have the same scene.
I think we do. So let's talk about how Ratatouille came about. Pixar productions are always fascinating because they get started like almost a decade before they actually come out, because these things take forever to make. The attention to detail is insane. Every single hair on every single rat was animated individually.
Mm-hmm.
That takes time. The idea for Ratatouille was dreamt up in 2000 by Jan Pinkava. He developed the original design, the sets, the characters, and the core story. And then in 2004, Pixar assigned directing duties to Brad Bird, who had just wowed them with The Incredibles. Pinkava wound up leaving Pixar in 2005 to pursue better opportunities. A little further into that, apparently he really wanted to direct something. He came to them with Ratatouille, and they're like, oh, this is great. Brad, do you want this?
Wow, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, but that's got to, to hand somebody like your, vision and then to watch them give it to somebody else, that's got to be fucking painful.
That's awful. I wonder if people in the business, like movie business, view movies differently. Like we love Ratatouille, but I wonder if like he watches it and he's like, this is fucking awful.
Oh, all the time, dude. The studios, if they don't see dollar signs, they will cancel a project no matter how far into it. That happens a lot, actually. Like, the movie business is almost entirely just making sure the suits are handled properly. That's most of the movie business.
Imagine like you're working on a movie that you really want to fucking see, and then they cancel it, and you're like, hey, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look at Kevin Smith and his Superman movie.
Oh, yeah, true.
That never happened. He was, getting started. He was ramping up production. He had a script. And eventually they were like, this is too expensive and no one wants to see this. So we're going to not do this anymore. And he was like, oh, so fuck me then. Okay. And yeah, it sucks. But, that's the risk you take as a filmmaker. It's like, if the people paying for this don't like it, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're like, there's pushback, when the suits will roll up to the gates and be like, we think this should happen, even though it's completely contradictory to everything that's happening in the movie you wrote, but we're paying for it, so you're going to do it.
Yep.
Well, Brad Bird, he was a good pick. He's always done reliable work for Pixar. And Mission Impossible 4, weirdly.
That's weird.
Yeah, don't really get it. It was a good movie, but like, Brad Bird and producer Brad Lewis, the Brads, spent a week in Paris touring its most renowned restaurants in order to better understand the culture of a French kitchen. The biggest challenge was animating food that would look delicious. So the producers consulted gourmet chefs in France and America, and the animators attended cooking classes at San Francisco culinary schools.
Hell yeah, that's so cool, man.
Yeah. They taught their animators how to be chefs to make this movie. It's like exactly what happened in Armageddon. But yeah, I admire that. I don't feel that kind of attention to detail in Pixar's recent films.
No, I was gonna ask you actually. Every single Pixar movie that comes out is absolutely beautiful, but I think that's detrimental to them because we all expect it to look beautiful, and it does, and it's getting boring. It's
Yeah,
getting so boring.
it's like, when you're young and, you're in high school, I think this is pretty true of most men. If not, come at me. I think we mostly, we date we especially at the beginning of, growing up, we date for looks for the most part. We are attracted to looks. The older we get, yeah, looks are great, but can I hold a conversation with you? Are you fun? Are you, do you have dreams? Do you have aspirations? We're looking inside. And we've reached a point with Pixar where looks just aren't doing it for us anymore. And we need some what's the word I'm looking for? Substance. We need some substance. And Pixar has been missing substance for a while now.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, when people bring up Pixar, I always bring up Leica Studios, the people that did Coraline. Like, they rarely release movies. I think, did they just come out with a movie? I feel like they did. No, did they?
What's his studio's name again?
Leica, Laika. They did Paranorman, Coraline, Box Trolls.
Leica Studios. Upcoming films, released film. Missing Link was their last movie. That was in 2019.
Oh, I didn't see that. Never mind. But like, their movies are beautiful, but they're all great. Coraline is so fucking good.
I have not seen Coraline, but I've heard good things.
Oh, you've never seen Coraline?
No.
Holy shit, dude! You gotta watch Coraline.
In 4th grade, my teacher gave everybody the Coraline novel, and I was resentful because nobody tells me what to read. I've held on to that shit since 4th grade. So maybe I should watch that movie.
You gotta let some stuff go, man.
I know. I just remember thinking, like, how dare you?
Did you read it though?
No, I didn't.
Holy shit!
I kept reading my Goosebumps because I picked that. I was reading what I wanted to read, and to this day, most of college, I didn't read what they told me to read. I read on my own, including grad school. It's a miracle I pulled that off. I do what I want. I'll watch Coraline. I would like to. I've heard good things. It looks creepy. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
The book does what you told me Jurassic Park does. The book is awful. It is terrifying.
Well, hey, maybe we'll on our project we're talking about, that'd be a good contender.
That would be.
So yeah, I do think I'm thinking back of like Pixar's recent stuff. I still haven't seen Elemental. That's the only one of theirs I have not seen. Lightyear.
Lightyear, Strange World, which
that wasn't Pixar. That was just Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Turning Red was theirs.
Turning Red was good, but it wasn't like it had a good message, but like nothing. I mean, it wasn't like great.
Yeah. Coco for me was like their last hurrah.
Yeah.
Everything after that was just, Cars 3, Toy Story 4. Oh, Onward was good. I really liked Onward.
Dude, Onward was great. What I think, I know, like, I probably said it, that movies, like, it's good to have, like, a message, but I feel like now Pixar is trying a little too hard to have a message in every single one of their movies. Just make something like Toy Story again, please. Just do, like, a cool, nice story,
Yeah, because Toy Story never had a message or anything. Like, hey, maybe don't be a dick to the new guy.
Okay, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, no, that's not what I.
Growing up is not that scary when you've got people you love helping you along the way.
Okay, that was dumb. I admit that was dumb to say. Yeah.
My favorite message they ever did was A Bug's Life, which is workers can seize the means of production.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
That's the most communist movie ever made.
Yeah. Hopper is terrifying.
Yeah. And he gets probably the scariest death in Disney history. Gets eaten alive again, Scar, but this seemed worse.
Oh, what I mean is, like, don't delve into kids' psyches every movie,
Mm, I don't know, because I think those movies are a good way to sell big, high concept shit to children who might,
But they're all
take that
failing.
into their psyche and carry that, in a good way.
Yeah. Why do you think Pixar movies are failing?
Oh, for the same reason all of Disney's movies are failing. They don't fucking care anymore.
Mm.
Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, regular Disney, they're all suffering from the same problem, which is nobody gives a shit about story. There's no heart in any of these movies. And you can tell. We can always tell when, when you're watching or eating something that had no love put into it.
Yeah, exactly.
As Anton Ego once said, if I don't love it, I don't swallow.
Maybe that's what I mean, because I guess, like, yeah, they still have messages, but like they feel empty to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, you grew up. You're not learning anymore.
That is true.
Yeah, we're no longer the target audience.
Like, I saw Inside Out for the first time today, and I wasn't rolling my eyes. I'm like, holy shit, that's actually like a really good like message. That's great. But like, I don't know.
No, you got a point. The messages are gone because the films are on a conveyor belt now, just like the rest of their shit. They know, you put bright colors in front of a kid's face, they're gonna beg mom to go see it.
Yeah.
So why bother putting in any extra effort?
Yep.
But back in 2007, Ratatouille was a huge hit, grossing $623 million on a budget of $150 million.
Mm.
It was nominated for 5 Oscars at the 80th Academy Awards.
Holy shit, dude.
It won Best Animated Film, defeating Surf's Up and Persepolis. What an odd bunch. The Penguin Surfing movie was up for Best Animated Film.
Surf's Up is actually a pretty good movie.
Really? I have no desire. I never got on board with the penguin craze in the mid 2000s.
Once you like realize what kind of movie it is, it's good. It's like a mockumentary.
I heard 311's cover of Reggae Got Soul, and that turned me off pretty quickly. But and then Persepolis is like a dark, like animated, almost quasi-fascist movie. It's not a kid's movie.
I have no idea what that is yet.
I don't really know either, so I'm not going to describe it too much because I don't want to get it wrong. But there used to be a time where if Pixar's up for it, you put everything on Pixar. No one's taking it away from Pixar. Only a couple movies have ever beaten Pixar. I think like Shrek beat Monsters, Inc. Happy Feet beat Cars. And
I'm sorry, Happy Feet beat Cars?
Yes.
Oh my god.
The third movie that was up that year is what should have fucking taken it, and that was Monster House.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, that movie should have gotten Best Animated Film that year.
Dude.
But yeah, it's Pixar's not a sure thing anymore. I think it was recent. 2020. Whoever did Turning Red win? No, it didn't. Something else. What the hell was that? Pinocchio, maybe? I don't know. Recently they had
Pinocchio.
I think it was Pinocchio, yeah. So yeah. It used to be Pixar was a sure thing, not anymore though. Mm-hmm. It was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best Original Score, Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. I love when animated films sneak into the screenplay categories. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's always just nice. They never win. But Ratatouille has an IMDb score of 8.1, Rotten Tomatoes score of 96%, audience score of 87%. Critics' consensus reads, fast-paced and stunningly animated, Ratatouille adds another delightfully entertaining entry and a rather unlikely hero to the Pixar canon. It's currently streaming on Disney Plus, where it will be forever.
I just want to take a moment. This is the first FOODGAZM episode that we've done where the review doesn't have a fucking food pun in it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't say like deliciously entertaining or something like that.
Yep.
Thank God.
Delightfully. I like that word. Delightfully.
Yeah. Unlikely hero. Why? Because he's a rat? That's not very nice.
How fucking dare you? Have you seen or read Desperado? You asshole.
Are you talking about the tale of Despero?
Despero. Fuck me, dude. Desperado.
For a second there, I was like, what does Robert Rodriguez have to do with this?
Oh, that's it. I'm off the show.
Thank you for that. With that, let's give Ratatouille some awards. First up, best line. What do you got?
Oh man, this is a long one. My favorite line, well, actually, here, because best line is one line. So my favorite line in the movie, is actually Anton Ego's review, but I guess that technically doesn't qualify as a line. So I'm gonna switch two of these up real quick. So my best line in the movie, is just because it makes me laugh every time. It's when Linguini is he's giving his pep talk to everyone, and he's like, "Tonight is a big night. Appetite is coming, and he's gonna have a big ego. I mean, ego. He's coming, the critic, and he's gonna order something from our menu, and we'll have to cook it."
Yeah, I love that this movie didn't end with him like becoming a chef.
No,
he was, he didn't. It wasn't his thing. It wasn't his skill set.
he didn't even like it. I'm so glad that he went to like doing something that he was good at, which is like just serving. Like you can be like waiting is a big deal in fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
Like the maitre d' is one of the highest respected positions of a restaurant.
Yeah, and you can, whatever your job is, you can. I think you find more satisfaction if you take pride in it. I have a friend of mine who waits tables, and she finds it incredibly rewarding. Like she could do something else, but she doesn't want to. She's comfortable, and that's fine. She probably makes more than I do. I have two, which I don't usually do, but I have the one I picked, like my pick, and then I have another one that just had me laugh because I cannot believe this got into a Disney movie. It's when Linguini gets hired initially as a chef after he, impresses with the soup, and Skinner's got his eye on him, and Skinner just says to him, "Welcome to hell." Like, how did they get that past the Disney censors? Like, Jesus, it's so aggressive.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah. So I love that. But then my official line comes from Gusteau early on in the movie when he's being interviewed on TV about what his phrase "anyone can cook" really means. And he says, "You must be imaginative, strong-hearted, you must try things that may not work, and you must not let anyone define your limits because of where you come from. Your only limit is your soul. What I say is true. Anyone can cook, but only the fearless can be great."
That was almost my pick, but Linguini's speech made me die every time.
Yeah. I love that. I love this because it's such a great message. Just, never let anyone tell you what you can't do. Like if you believe in yourself, that's enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Music moment. This is a great score.
Le Festine. That's it. Le Festine, the main theme of Ratatouille. It plays at the end. End credits when it's showing that now Remy has a fucking restaurant of his own. Which, what do they do when the health inspector comes?
Well, I mean, clearly they have a system. You hide the rats when the health inspector shows up. You've got the fake. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got one of my Letterboxd reviews talks about that. So we'll
really?
That
That's great.
Yeah, it's a nice theme. It's touching. It's very French. And mine is, I don't know the name of the tune of the track, but it's when Remy fixes the soup. It's when he first.
That's what I was gonna fucking say, dude.
It's the first time he really gets to cook.
Yeah.
And it's so whimsical and hopeful. It's perfect Pixar cooking music. It's just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's experimenting. He doesn't know if it's going to work, but he's confident that it will.
Yep.
And I love that you can do that. Like you can just, with the right skill and knowledge of flavor, you can repair a dish like that.
Yeah.
That's so
The
neat.
skill. Yeah. Fuck, man. That was my second choice. I was also thinking about doing the when he's eating the strawberry and the cheese, and like that does like melodies are playing.
Yeah, that was some ASMR shit. Like
I know
that was cool. I love when he tries to get his brother to do it, and he just like, and you lost me. Like he just doesn't. Yeah.
He's like, oh,
Performance. This is a great vocal cast. Who'd you go with?
So I went with Ian Holm as Skinner because I didn't know that was Ian Holm until I watched it this time.
Yeah, he's I guess our bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He really I thought he was a Frenchman. He a lot of passion, a lot of anger, and a lot of funny lines. And rest in peace,
Yeah. Yeah, good pick. He was great. I too went with somebody we lost, Peter O'Toole as Anton Ego.
Yeah.
He plays this, gaunt, scary Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame looking motherfucker who is so skinny because he has probably never finished a meal.
Yep.
Because he only eats amazing food.
If I don't love it, I don't swallow. Terrifying. It is.
Yeah. And but then seeing him, we'll get to it. Best scene.
100%. It's when Anton eats, and it's when it's revealed to him that a rat cooked the dish. And I guess it's from the moment that he figures out it's a rat all the way into the end of his review. It's beautiful. I actually copied his review, but it's long. I won't read it unless you want me to.
No, I think if you capture too much of the movie, we're gonna get our asses sued off by Disney. So best to avoid that.
But it's so good. He makes a lot of like really poignant, statements. I'm trying to find just when he says like to say that both the meal and its maker have challenged my preconceptions about fine cooking is a gross understatement. They have rocked me to my core. Such a good line, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, right here. He says, in the past, I have made no secret of my disdain for Chef Cousteau's famous motto, anyone can cook. But I realize only now do I truly understand what he meant. Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. Beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I picked Anton's initial first bite. It's
so good.
It's great because he's, he goes in there expecting failure. He's preparing to tear this place a new one. And then he takes a bite of the ratatouille and he just has that flashback of like, oh my God. It's beautiful. It's beautifully like shown and just a great depiction of what a food memory can be. Yeah. And just completely changes his entire life. You see him at the end, he's wearing a hat. He's out in public in the daytime. He's happy. This meal changed him at a fundamental level.
Yeah. So good. I love when Skinner sees him eating and he loves it. Skinner like looks the bottle of wine he's drinking.
I love that they made him wait all through service to meet the chef, and he was more than willing to just sit there and just wait.
I think that says a lot that he really respected who that was.
I love that he didn't even like when they brought the rat out, he was like, okay, all right, interesting.
Then,
like
yeah,
he wasn't immediately like, get the fuck out of here. He was like, all right, explain this to me.
And I think it wasn't because I think it went from like him realizing that Gusteau is like the restaurant is a success now. It's one of the best meals he's ever had. But it wasn't just the food that changed his life completely. It's learning that a rat cooked for him. And when he believed that, he was like, fuck, I gotta like rethink my whole life.
Have you heard the theory that the reason Anton responded so like amazingly to the ratatouille is because that was his mother's recipe?
Ooh.
The house that Remy was living in and learning about food was his mother's house. That ratatouille recipe came from her cookbooks.
Oh shit, because Remy is the one that showed them the recipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Remy was living in Anton Ego's childhood home.
Possibly. I mean, when they do the flashback, it does look similar. The house looks similar to the house at the beginning of the movie.
That's crazy. That is insane.
Yeah. And it would make sense why he would have a, not all ratatouille is going to taste the same. Like the odds of him making the exact ratatouille that his mother made him are astronomical unless he had the recipe.
Oh man, that's crazy. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a cool one. I like that. Also, the dog shadow, when like Remy's like going through the apartments, that's Doug.
Doug. Yep. That one. And then did you notice that his type not only does his typewriter look like a skull, but his office looks like a coffin.
My God.
Which is great.
Linguini is wearing Mr. Incredible underpants.
Yep. I want to bite Colette's nose. I know that's really, but I want to bite her nose.
One of my favorite moments, another moment I can't believe made it past the censors, is when Linguini's trying to explain to her his little chef, and he's like, I have this tiny little, and she just looks down for a second.
So good.
Oh boy. Yeah, this movie kind of it changed Patton Oswalt's career as well. He's Remy. And up to that point, he was a very, very successful comedian, had been in some movies, but then he became, a voice for so many children to recognize him now.
Yeah.
He did a whole bit on one of his specials where he said like Ratatouille ruined Halloween for him because he used to just get high and watch horror movies. But that year, Remy was a big Halloween costume, and he kept worrying he was going to open the door to some kid dressed as Remy, and he was going to be stoned off his ass and say some off-color shit to the kid.
That's so funny.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Let's see what the people over on Letterboxd have to say about it on our final segment, What's in the Box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
Ratatouille rocking a 4.2 out of 5. That's pretty amazing. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. What would it be for you?
5. I love this movie, but I also love cooking. So
there you go.
I can't think of a single complaint I have with the movie.
Well, you're going to hear some complaints some very angry people have about it.
Oh my God, dude. People need to chill the fuck out.
I have 5 here. 3 of them are negative, 2 of them are not. So it's not all bad of it.
Okay.
This first one's from Oikuf_2, and I hope to God this person's a troll. If not, I want to find them and kill them. This would never happen in real life. Half a star.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of restaurants out there that have rats.
I'm sure.
My God, can you imagine? I mean, he's probably a troll, but there's got to be some people out there who have such a skewed or jaded sense of realism that anytime they watch something even remotely fantastical, they turn themselves off and are like, oh, that would never happen.
Yep. And they're like, I don't want to fucking watch this.
God, what a boring beige person you are.
Oh my God. It has to be a troll.
I hope so. I hope there's not a person out there with that kind of personality. This next one's from Brian. We should not be teaching kids to have empathy for rodents. We should be training them as a militia to hunt them down and exterminate them permanently. I lived above a restaurant in 2020, and when the pandemic shut it down and their food supply dried up, all of the mice came upstairs to my apartment. 14 of them over the course of 16 months. They weren't cute and well-meaning. They were terrorists. Fuck this whitewashing and sanitizing. Fuck the rodent lobby and whoever funded this. Disgusting. Half a star. Brian, I don't think Big Rodent is trying to brainwash children, but I appreciate your situation.
So either that's a troll or he has some serious issues with, like, just rodents in general.
Here's the thing. If you went through a traumatic experience with rodents terrorizing your apartment, why the fuck would you watch Ratatouille? That's my big question here.
Yeah.
You gonna follow that with Willard, you freak? Like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Willard is a freaky ass movie.
I've not seen Willard. It's no Crispin Glover plays with rats. That's all I got.
That's gonna be our next project. Rat movies. Ratgasm. No, don't call it Ratgasm.
We're not calling anything Ratgasm. That sounds like some very specific porn I'm not ready to talk about. Oh, this next one is from somebody. They don't have a name, just a blank face, which is weird. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't watch the movie. I just hate this fucking rat. Half a star.
What the fuck, dude?
If y'all have listened to this show for at least the past year, you know my biggest peeve is people who rank movies they didn't fucking watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird to just be like, I don't like that rat, so I'm going to give this movie a negative. You're like, what? Go away.
What do you mean you don't like that rat? You haven't even seen the movie.
All right. These last two are nice.
Okay.
This is from Sana. Opening a new restaurant called La Ratatouille after your last one was closed for a rat infestation is a power move that only the greatest chef in the century could make. 5 stars.
That's funny.
That is ballsy. Like when Gusteau's gets shut down due to rats, and you're like, welcome to my new rat restaurant. Like, Jesus, the food must be incredible over there.
You should. I really hope that they, like, instead of fried rice, it's rat fried rice. That way, when someone comes in, they're like, "You telling me a rat fried this rice?" You're like, "Yes."
That fucking shrimp fried rice joke is maybe my favorite joke of all time.
It's still funny. I don't care. Anyone,
it's the dumbest shit, but I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Tell me a shrimp fried this rice. God damn it. Oh, that's good. But yeah, I do admire that, like, they just decided to rat theme their new restaurant and just own it.
Yeah.
This last one's from Rom. I wish I had a nice foodie friend, a taste bud.
That's it. That's the whole review.
You're my taste bud.
Oh, you're my taste bud.
Goofy motherfuckers. That's what's in the box. Mostly very positive, but also a lot of just angry people who are like, because that's what happens when you open a website to review movies and let everyone say their piece.
Yeah. Rats destroyed my life. I hate this movie.
I keep thinking about that guy who was in, like, in the shit. He's in rat hell, and he decided to throw on this Pixar movie about a rat, and he was surprised he didn't like it.
What happened was, as the rats were flooding his apartment and he's like getting covered in rats and getting bit and stuff, he looks outside of his apartment and there's a fucking billboard for Ratatouille, and he's like, no.
I would love if they, like, I don't know how the zoning laws would make this possible, but I would love if, like, his neighbor lost their house to, like, Chuck E. Cheese. And he's just, like, constantly seeing, like, rat here, rat there, rats everywhere.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'd hate everything too.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I don't blame him.
This was a blast. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd accounts for daily reviews. You search for me at Connor95, and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that letterbox. You can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, and all donations go right back into the show. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions. Thanks to Cooley Cow for our awesome theme music. Thanks to you for checking it out. Well, in the meantime, remember that anyone can cook. Take it easy. Keep watching movies. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.